Hey, we've got a new V collection and it's pretty darn good. It's the V collection 11 and Arturia added a new emulation, a lot of updates and a brand new instrument. So let's check it out. I hope that this video helps you decide if you want to get it or if you want to upgrade. So if you appreciate that, please give a like to it and also consider subscribing to the channel. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's start with the analog emulations. The Sytnhx V and the Mini Brute are now part of the collection, so you can get them if you didn't get those when they released. Besides that, they have updated the Oberheim SEM. Now it's on the version 3. I'm not sure if it sounds different. Let's test it. But of course, now it has all the capabilities of the newer instruments. It has all of the advanced effects, even a new one, which is the transgate. Also the advanced modulators, like the functions, the randoms, and whatnot. And besides, Arturia decided to add here the multi-ARP, which was originally presented with the Sytnhx V. Now for the new addition to the emulations, we have the Jupiter 8000. This is emulating a classic analog modeling synth by Roland. The most characteristic part of it is on oscillator 1, because you can choose different types of oscillator and you can mutate the sound. Of course, the triangle, the pulse, and the sawtooth maybe are not too unique, but for instance, the feedback oscillator can get very harsh and gnarly in a nice way, of course. In fact, I used this oscillator on a preset that I made for Diva a while back, so let's try to recreate it here. And besides that, you can of course combine the complex oscillators of oscillator 1 with the simple ones from oscillator 2, not only by mixing them, but thanks to the cross modulation. Besides that and everything that you can see on the screen, we have the advanced tab with all the newer effects, the advanced modulators, and again the multi-ARP that can also be chosen to be a sequencer. Now, in this moment, I gotta say that I love the multi-ARP, especially to create polymetry and polyrhythmic arpeggios, but I feel it's also taking away a little bit of the uniqueness from the Sytnhx V. I mean, the original Sytnhx had 4 lanes for sequences. And you also could create polymetry and polyrhythms. And that was an integral part of the Sytnhx. So now that we have these multi-ARPs on the Jupiter 8000 and on the SEM, I feel that I would prefer if they made a multi-sequencer on the Sytnhx V now. Now, if you want a deeper dive on the Sytnhx V, you can go and watch this other video. But basically, I like a lot how it sounds, especially thanks to the audio rate pulse width modulation and the ring modulation that it offers, and of course the dual layer. And speaking of reviews that I already made, the V collection now has the Mini Brute. Again, you can go and watch a deeper dive right here. The thing with this one is that it has a very dirty and raw character, and I especially love the metalizer for the triangle wave, the resonance that can get very dirty, and the brute factor. The thing that I'm missing from the Mini Brute, now that I compare it to the others in the collection, are more modulation options. I mean, I get you want to share the original experience, but you're also adding a lot of different effects. So why not add some modulators so we can go even deeper with sound design? So that's it for the emulations. The other new instruments are the Augmented Yangtze and the Augmented Mallets. The Yangtze was already released, but the Mallets was only released on its Play version. Now you can edit every parameter that you want. Besides that, you can see that they have changed the UI. This is like a version 2 of the Augmented series. This new UI adds more stuff to the play screen. That way, if you want to change the gain or whatever else, you can do it without going to the Advanced tab. Now, the thing with the Augmented Yangtze and with the Augmented Mallets is that I love how they sound, really. Especially for the Yangtze, I mean, listen to this. With the mallets it's the same. I love how mallet-based instruments sound, especially the marimba. So having an instrument dedicated to that makes it very inspiring too. Technically, with other synths, even with pigments, you can recreate the sounds that you can make on the Augmented series. But there's something about the workflow that has led me to create sounds that I won't usually make on other synthesizers. Besides, as they have synthesizer engines, it's a pretty capable synth on its own, and that's crazy. Now there's one last new instrument in the collection, and is very different from anything that Arturia has made for the collection before. This is the pure Lo-Fi. Now, to be completely honest, my initial thoughts about pure Lo-Fi were not too good. I mean, I thought you can recreate this on pigments if you want. But then, while playing with it, I started having a lot of fun. And as with the Augmented series, having a dedicated synthesizer for this type of sounds creates a whole different experience. Basically, it has two engines and a noise generator. On the engines you can choose the creative sampler, the lo-fi oscillator, and the realistic instruments, which I'm guessing is multi-sampled. Now, as you can see, the engines don't have many parameters to edit. The lo-fi oscillator works kinda like a wavetable, where you change the position with the timbre. For the realistic instrument you don't have many parameters, and the creative sampler, I think that you can interchange the samples that you have chosen. Now, on themselves, these engines sound pretty nice, but each one of them has also a different analog emulation profile, I think, like for different types of color and even degradation. Besides, we have the proper lo-fi effects that come in the form of 6 different processors. As you can see, we can add drive, wear, wobble, we can change the tone, add this speaker effect, and make the sound more vintage. Now, each of the processors sound different, so of course experiment with them and feel free to start changing them after you have created a sound. That way you can choose the one that fits better the kind of result that you're aiming for. Besides all of that, of course, as with any instrument by Arturia now, we have the Advanced tab. Here we find different modulators, things for expression and effects. So yeah, I was surprised by how much I'm liking the pure lo-fi. Now, for the big question, is it worth it to get the collection? I think the collection have been worth it for a while now. I mean, with all of the instruments and the variety it offers, I think you can be set for a long time with every sound design need that you have. The V Collection is not an analog emulation bundle anymore. It has the emulations, but also has pretty advanced synthesizers, realistic instruments, and very unique stuff. Besides that, with advanced features, most of these instruments are very deep on their own. I mean, with the collection, you may not even need pigments. Of course, all of this is true if you don't have already many great synthesizers. Now, what's a bit more complex to answer if it's worth to upgrade? Well, first of all, let's consider the new additions. I think that they are pretty nice. The pure lo-fi is unexpectedly fun, the Jupiter 8000 it's great on its own, I love the augmented Jiangxi and the mallets, and the update for the SEM was something that was needed, honestly. But of course, one of the most important things that you have to take into consideration is your personal offer. So for that, the first thing that you have to do is to go to your Arturia account and check your personal discount. Then consider all of the new features, the updates and whatnot, and decide if you want to upgrade. Still, I think it's a great update from the V Collection 10. But of course, what matters the most is your opinion on the subject. So let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, I will see you next time, and bye bye!